That might be the best one I've had this month. What's good, nerds? How you doing? How's it hanging? I hope you're all well. Vinegar Syndrome has announced some shit. They actually announced it a while back. I've been in rehab. What do you want from me? Right? Trying to get cured off the wild turkey. So what's important is that I'm here now to tell you all about the shit that Vinegar Syndrome wants you to buy. Do you want to buy any of it? I don't know. I can't make your mind up for you, but I'm going to try to help. From the DeGosser line, first up, we are getting Attack of the Beast Creatures on VHS. This is a 1985 film directed by a gentleman named Mike Stanley, and it's not being released to Blu-ray, only VHS. So here's one from Vinegar Syndrome for the people who are still rocking VHS only format. Not even a dual format, Blu-ray / VHS. It's just straight up VHS. That's commitment to a dead format. And it's a dead format, don't get me wrong. Mark my words, it is a dead format. All you weird fuckers out there, they're like, VHS is the new vinyl, yay! A, you're wrong. B, it's not. It's a dead format. You know why? They still make turntables and record players. I could go buy a new one at Target right now for $100. Where are you getting a VHS? Probably not from Target, brand new. You're probably going to eBay to get a VHS player. This is what it is. It's a novelty. VHS is a novelty, and just to prove it, Vinegar Syndrome knows how useless this fucking hunk of plastic is. This one lights up. It's proof that it's a fucking novelty. Look at this. All these DeGosser VHS light up. It's a $50 nightlight is what it is, and you're a sucker if you buy it. But you know, I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. VHS is not the new vinyl, though. I'm willing to die on that hill. Anyway, from the cinematograph line, we're getting Shanks in a 4K Blu-ray combo. So modern format. What do you know? The shit that they actually want to sell, they'll put in a modern format. Look at that. This film, Shanks, was released in 1974, directed by William Castle. It's his final film. And this film is about a puppeteer. He discovers that he can use technology, electrodes or something like that to reanimate the dead. Not like Frankenstein where he kind of brings them back to life and there's a soul. This is more like a puppeteer learning how to puppet formerly living people, like corpses, like using corpses as puppets. He sort of remote controls them, as you could see in the trailer. So check that out. It's like a sort of like a weird Weekend at Bernie's shit, like on acid. Like if you do psychedelics and then watch Weekend at Bernie's, you get Shanks. But I will say the 4K looks quite good. It seems to have that very naturalistic restoration that Vinegar Syndrome, I think, is known for. I mean, look at their other 4Ks, and they have a very warm and naturalistic look to them. And I think it works pretty well for some of these films, the age of some of these films that are being put out in 4K by Vinegar Syndrome. There's also some interesting bonus features, I think, on this one. It's not chock full of bonus stuff, but there's a commentary. There are some interviews and featurettes that should be enlightening, at least. I'm not entirely sold on this one, but I'm open. I'm receptive to it, okay? A couple of drinks, sweet talk me a little bit. You know, I'm not going to be a difficult sell on this one. I am pretty easy after all. Always have been. Ask my wife. I should say no more. Dial D for Demons is coming to Blu-ray. This is part of the VSA line. That's the Vinegar Syndrome Archive, is what VSA stands for. The initial charter of the VSA line was to bring us these forgotten or lesser known oddities of the video store era. So the way I interpret that is they're not hits. They're not hits. They have to be stuff that's sort of come and gone. It was never super popular to begin with. Also, the films would have been released in that sort of 12 to 15 year window from the early 80s to the mid 90s, maybe even late 90s. You could squeak in a few late 90s, but to me, that video store era is very much, that's the 80s, that's the 90s, maybe most of the 90s. And then once we get to the tail end of the 90s, I really think that video store era is kind of wearing off a little bit. There is actually a lot of chatter online on some of the forums that the VSA line has largely become a venue for these older and lesser known Hong Kong cinema films, which, there's complaints, largely being that the line has been dominated by those Hong Kong films. It lacks variety, and that the films being released might not have been video store oddities at all. And this release is kind of proof of that, in my opinion. I don't believe that this is a movie that came out, I believe, in 2000, and I don't believe it's ever been released in the United States. So I think this kind of proves the point. I think there is a little bit of validity to those criticisms. I like Hong Kong cinema films, so I'm not a tough sell on Hong Kong movies, but even I feel like the complaint has a little bit of merit. 7 out of the last 10 VSA releases have been Hong Kong films, have been Chinese language films, some of which, like My Father is a Hero and maybe A Man Called Hero, possibly Black Cat 1 and 2, might have been kicking around a video store at some point in the very late 90s. I don't know how many Hong Kong cinema films were kicking around video stores circa 1991. I don't think there was a lot of that going on. So I don't know. I think maybe the time is ripe for Vinegar Syndrome to invent a new line of films that they can like pour this recent glut of Hong Kong cinema films we've been getting, because it's great. More Hong Kong, the merrier. But is it the Vinegar Syndrome archive line? I digress. I think this movie looks fine, maybe a little bit strange, but it looks fine. Check it out, maybe. I don't know. That being said, all of those complaints being said, I've put them out there, I've aired them. People can stop writing me and constantly DMing me and asking me when I'm going to talk about the recent complaints about the Vinegar Syndrome archive line having been co-opted by Hong Kong cinema releases. But there is a Vinegar Syndrome archive released this month that is more in line with what the original intent of the line was. So this is the one for the people who are complaining. This is for the haters. Mindbenders coming to a region-free Blu-ray, bitches. And this is one that's right up my alley as well. As much as I like Hong Kong cinema films, I think this one's more up my alley than Dial D for Demons. This is an 80s movie, which I like, and it contains a very glorious food fight. So this movie was pretty much made for me. I mean, this is like all of my sensibilities kind of lined up into one release. It's an 80s film with a food fight. Bruh, like take my $30, dude. I'm writing a check right now. According to Vinegar Syndrome, Mindbenders offers a rich mid 80s aesthetic, which, you had me at mid, because then I thought you were talking about my penis. Zany comedy, I like that too. Vinegar Syndrome is promising us some zany comedy. Give me a break from all this Halloween horror content. I just watched A Nightmare on Elm Street. That shit was pretty. I watched the 4K, right? It was nice, but I'm ready for some comedy. I feel like by the time November 1 rolls around, I'm ready to watch something kind of funny. Enough of all the gore and the killing and the shit like that. And this film, Mindbenders, does in fact seem like something that I would have found in a forgotten corner of some mom and pop video store, not a Blockbuster, in Pensacola, Florida, right? And I'm walking through there with no shoes on, dirty feet. It's the very early 90s. It's like 1990. It's like April of 1990. We're only barely scratching the 1990s at this point. And I'm looking at the cover of Mindbenders, and the thing's all sun bleached and shit. But I'm still like, let's check this out, Mom. And she's like, it's not rated. I don't know. Anyway, I think Mindbenders is looking pretty sweet. I'm willing to give it a go. Special features look decent too. There's 2 commentaries on this, plus a making of, like a mini documentary making of. So, I mean, it looks like a pretty solid release. And everybody complaining about the Hong Kong cinema films dominating the VSA line. You still have a point, all right? 7 out of the last 10. And this is one of the last 10. I'm including this in my count of the last 10. But even still, Mindbenders is for the haters. Forgotten Jolly is Volume 7, excuse me. Forgotten Jolly, Volume 7. This is the 7th in a series. It's coming to Blu-ray. I don't really fuck with the Jalo box sets. I'll be honest. It is something that when I came back to purchasing physical media, it's kind of like, well, hey, what the fuck are these? I don't remember Best Buy selling a lot of these to me circa 2005 when I was buying Criterions off the shelf at Best Buy. I mean, Best Buy used to sell everything, right? And so if they didn't have it circa 2005, it wasn't legal, period. It was like a snuff film if Best Buy didn't carry it. Nowadays, of course, Best Buy is, I mean, it's a whole different topic for another day. I'll rant about that at another time when I'm less tired and less afraid of Freddy Krueger coming out of the fucking room over there. But I'm not against the Giallo. It seems like they've blown up. They're all over. Like Arrow's got a fucking billion of them out. Obviously, Vinegar Syndrome's put out 7 now. That it just seems like that's. I mean, it seems like a lot, and it seems like I'm already too far behind to catch up. But for $60, there's 3 films from the 80s in here of the Giallo genre. So if that's your thing, then this is your thing, right? $60 ain't bad for 3 80s movies. Each of these films offers a commentary track as well as several featurettes and interviews. So it seems like in addition to just the 3 films, you've got 3 films worth of commentaries and special features. And so several hours of entertainment. I mean, I think you could do a lot worse for $60. $60. Although you could spend $60 on drugs, which is maybe arguably a better way to spend $60. Just saying. Ghost Dance is coming out on Blu-ray, and this one looks pretty interesting to me as well. I don't know about you guys, but this is the kind of shit I think of when I think of Vinegar Syndrome. When I hear the words Vinegar Syndrome put together, this is exactly the type of movie that I think about. It's like this little known film. I don't know how many of you motherfuckers out there have heard of the Ghost Dance or have seen the Ghost Dance. It's at least to me, it's a little known movie. I mean, you guys might come back. You guys might start DMing me again ruthlessly in between all of the ruthless dick pics you guys DM me all the fucking time. I feel like I've seen everybody's dick already. You guys send me a lot of dick pics, which is weird. I don't feel like I ever asked for that. But you guys might start DMing me in between the dick pics and being like, yo, bro, you never heard of the Ghost Dance, you dumb fuck. Well, I'm Tard Kent for a reason, okay? I'm kind of retarded. But to me, in my mind, this is a lesser known, it's a Native American slasher film. So it's like, I don't know if he's going to fucking scalp some bitches too. I haven't seen anybody get scalped in a slasher, but like, there's definitely room for that here. It's a film of the early 80s. There's a Puerto Rican guy who plays the American Indian. I love it. I love it. It's all good. It doesn't offend me. Trust me. I get 50 dick pics a day in my DMs, and nothing offends me. I don't care. There's a supernatural element here with the possession of a Native American man by some vengeful Indian spirit causing him to murder. I love it. I love all of this. Wikipedia mentions a DVD release from 2006, but I don't see any record of it on Blu-ray.com. So usually they'll have a record of like previous releases, even in the DVD format there. And so I don't know if this is something that maybe it got released to DVD in another territory, not in the United States, but or North America. But you know, I don't know. I'm uncertain if this has received a DVD, a disc release in North America. Maybe not have. This might be the first disc release in North America for this one, but I'm not going to put my 401k on it. There are special features. There's a commentary. There's about an hour of interviews. So, you know, there's a little bit there. It's not bad. It's a nice little release. And, you know, if I see this one for $17.50 with the slipcover in a sale on Vinegar Syndrome next year, you know, like it's May of 2025. They're doing some cool sale. Boom, Rad comes back on 4K for, they found another 10,000 of these motherfuckers they're going to try to sell. And they put this one on sale for $17.50 with the slipcover. The Ghost Dance is going in my cart. Easy ad when it's on sale and you just need to get that free shipping. Dog, this is what I'm talking about. Corpse Mania is coming out on 4K and Blu-ray 4K Blu-ray combo for a mainline Vinegar Syndrome release. This isn't even one of their like ultra releases, which always get the 4K treatment. This is just kind of a random, like, hey, we're gonna do Corpse Mania in 4K. And let me tell you, I'm not sure I want to see this in 4K. And that's saying a lot because I haven't look, I haven't seen all of Vinegar Syndrome's 4Ks. I haven't yet, but I haven't seen one that I don't like. I haven't seen one that doesn't look good yet. All of the 4Ks I've seen from Vinegar Syndrome look good. This one, I don't know, man. I checked it out, and this one might be too grisly even for me. I mean, this is like, I mean, I'm not saying the movie doesn't look intriguing or look good. It's probably very entertaining, but from some of the screenshots that Vinegar Syndrome is showing on their website, this movie, Corpse Mania, is erectile dysfunction in a can. I am definitely not watching this movie and then boning my wife afterward. There's no way it's happening. It's another Hong Kong cinema release. Vinegar Syndrome is selling this as something of a Chinese version of a giallo, like it's influenced by the giallo filmmaking language and some of the tropes that go along with that particular genre. But of course, it is being made, produced by Chinese filmmakers for a Chinese production company for a Chinese audience. So it's very interesting. I mean, if you're a giallo fan, if you're a big giallo fan, then you might want to see how the Chinese do it. How do they put a spin on this? And what's their take on some of these tropes? It's a period piece. It looks to be late 19th or early 20th century. It's set in China, of course. It's featuring some of this visual language, I think, that looks pretty nice, but also very unflinching. If you like yucky shit, this one might be right up your alley. If you don't like yucky shit, I don't know. This one might be a pass. The Vinegar Syndrome website, as I mentioned, for this film, on their website, they feature several super gross images of maggots like crawling all over a corpse, and she's nude, so they're like on her vagina and in her pubic hair. And that was enough, man. I had to put the lasagna that I was eating down. And I think that might be the last time that I explore the Vinegar Syndrome website during lunch. I think maybe I'm going to have to explore the Vinegar Syndrome website at night when I'm trying to get rid of an erection because my wife won't sleep with me. That's when I'm going to start opening the computer to the Vinegar Syndrome website and looking at images from some of their unreleased films, because holy fuck. I mean, she had them in there, her pubes and shit. I didn't want to see that. If I'm being perfectly honest, and I'm not sure I want to see that in 4K. I don't want to see 4Ks of fucking detail on them maggots fucking wiggly worming through this fucking Chinese broad's bush. Holy shit. That's fucking serious. That's serious business, okay? We're fucking around with the ghost dance. We're just having fun. But this Corpse Mania, this is some serious fucking business. There seem to be several like splashy wet murders in this film and necrophilia. I mean, as long as we're going to have Corpse Mania, what kind of Corpse Mania are we talking about? We're talking about necrophilia, which is something that I could never wrap my mind around. Could never get around the concept of having sex with a dead body. That's just too fucking gross and weird. Very yucky. But who could want more, right? You're getting bloody murder and corpse fucking all in 4K. I can't wait to watch this one with my mom. Here's a big one. This one might be the big one for the month, right? God, I gotta try not to rant about this one. I feel it. I feel it in me. I feel pregnant with a rant. This is probably the big one of the month. This is The Tenant coming to a 4K Blu-ray combo pack. This is a 1976 film made for Paramount Hollywood studio by Roman the Fuck Polanski. I can't believe that this film isn't talked about more. It's really quite surprising to me that The Tenant is not more often spoken about. And this is Polanski's follow-up to Chinatown. He made Chinatown in 74. This one came out in 76. I mean, this is the very next film that he worked on. That could be why it is far less often discussed. It might just be living deep in the shadow of Chinatown and the earlier Rosemary's Baby, which those seem to be like the Polanski movies of the late 60s and 70s that people talk about the most, that garner the most attention. So I think it might I think it might also be true. Here's where I feel the rant brewing. I'm gonna try to behave like a fucking goddamn fuck ass shit professional fuck in the next couple of minutes. But I feel like also Polanski's personal life and subsequent criminal history might also overshadow some of his work to some degree. I think movies like Rosemary's Baby and Chinatown, they're able to persevere in the zeitgeist because they are high quality. People don't argue that the films are not high quality, regardless of what you think about Polanski. People don't say Chinatown sucks. People say I refuse to watch Chinatown because of I'm taking a moral stance against Polanski, and that's fine. But there's nobody out here trying to say that they're poor films, that they're not good. Um, so I think that things like Rosemary's Baby, Chinatown, they're popular enough, they're high enough quality that they were able to persevere in the zeitgeist, but then they also entered the public zeitgeist before Polanski was arrested for drugging and sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl. So might just be that they're kind of riding that the crest of that high and glorious wave. And Polanski is a polarizing figure as a result of his criminal background. I don't think there's much doubt at all. I don't think anybody doubts that he is guilty of that sexual assault of the 13-year-old girls. I don't personally doubt it. I mean, from everything I've read, the testimony, her testimony, it really doesn't seem like there's much wiggle room for I think his defense is is what I did that bad? And it's not like I didn't do it. It's like, well, hang on, maybe my side of the story is a little different. I think that's his whole defense isn't even like I didn't do the thing. So I don't doubt his guilt. It doesn't. It's not something that I think is in question in my mind, at least from the things that I've read about that case and what people have said about that case. But at the same time, I still watch Roman Polanski films on occasion. I mean, I don't think R. Kelly is a good person either. Bounce, 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 bounce. Come on. I didn't intend for this video to be a commentary on separating entertainment from the fucked up artist who made it. But look, it's not like Roman Polanski's criminal history is some secret that recently came to light. We've known about this shit for a long fucking time. The public has known about Roman Polanski's criminal background for longer than I have been alive. His criminal history is more historical than my life, and I got gray hairs at this point. So the world has known that Roman Polanski sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl for 45 fucking years. The world has known it. And rape has never been a popular thing. It's not something that people like. I mean, the guy from Blazing Saddles.
I like rape.
Him aside, nobody else thinks very highly or regards rape very highly. I think we're all very against that. I've got 2 daughters. I'm very against that, okay? But it really wasn't until the Me Too movement took off in 2017 that attitudes towards Roman Polanski shifted, right? People were happy to acknowledge work like Chinatown and Rosemary's Baby and Knife in the Water as masterpieces. They defended Polanski on the merits of his artistic genius. I mean, I read that like somebody literally defended, I don't know if it was one of his lawyers or what, somebody came forward and was like, hey, yeah, he raped a 13-year-old girl, but he's an artistic genius. I mean, somebody mounted that argument. It was decades ago, but even still, they're trying to say, well, he's an artistic genius. I mean, isn't that what creative people do? That it seemed to be the argument. At any rate, it doesn't really hold water, but the fact that somebody threw it out there is a little bit egregious. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences was happy to give Polanski the Best Director Oscar in 2002 for The Pianist, but it's not like the Academy didn't know why he wasn't there to accept the award himself, what he was doing in France circa 2002. The Academy fucking knew what he was doing in France. So look, they turned around and banned him in 2018 for the very same shit that they were so willing to ignore in 2002. That's The hypocrisy. I'm sorry. I'm not fucking Merriam or Webster. And I didn't write the fucking dictionary, but I do know enough to know that you give the guy the award in 2002, and then in 2018, you ban him because, oh, wait a minute, it's suddenly unpopular. Look, before this becomes a rant, because I can see myself shouting about this, I don't mind ranting about Scream Factory releasing a $30 paperback novel. That is bullshit. I don't mind ranting about that, but this topic is much more sensitive. It's a very sensitive topic, and I want to be uncharacteristically respectful of this topic, at least a little bit, okay? I will say that Hollywood and cinephiles and film professors and everybody else, they gave Polanski a pass for decades until it became sufficiently unpopular to do so. Again, around 2017, 2018, all of a sudden, well, we can't support him anymore. It may very well be actually that Harvey Weinstein just ruined that shit for Polanski, because that really seemed to be the tipping point in time that pressure mounted sufficiently on like the Hollywood machine to effectively erode popular support for Polanski. Because really, before that, motherfuckers were signing petitions in like 2010. Like, let this motherfucker out of Swedish jail and don't let the US fucking extradite this motherfucker. I mean, it's like, and that was 2010. That 100 celebrities, famous motherfuckers, Asia Argento motherfuckers, Natalie Portman motherfuckers, signed this motherfucker, and they expressed regret about it later on. But even still, they didn't express regret until 2018, and the motherfucker, it became suddenly, it's like, oh, well, wait, what did he do? You fucking knew in 2010, you knew what he fucking did. Anyway, I wonder how many film programs at, you know, liberal arts universities still show Chinatown or Knife in the Water. I mean, the film school is where I first saw those two films. I hadn't seen those two films until I attended the film theory program at University of Georgia. So go Bulldogs. What up, motherfucker? Fucking Texas. Booyah, motherfuckers. Got you. So I didn't know a lot about Roman Polanski. I don't really think I knew anything about Roman Polanski at the time that I first saw those films when I was, I don't know, 20 years old in a film theory program. But I still own them. I still own the motherfuckers. I got them over there. Shit, I bought the 4K of Chinatown. I bought the Paramount Presents 4K of Chinatown in like August or September. So like the last couple of months. So I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to take a stance and then, you know, suddenly people start DMing me their dicks. I don't want to all of a sudden switch. I mean, look, I don't know Roman Polanski. I never met the guy. I don't want to try to defend him as a person. I'm not going to defend the things that he's done in his life outside of his work. But at this point, I'm still willing to view his work and acknowledge its place in film history. Plus, look at this fucker. Look at that novelty box. It's got little doors that swing open. Those little doors open up. Look at that shit. It comes with a 40-page booklet. Fuck, you know you fucking get hard over a fucking 40-page booklet. You know it. It's got new essays on the film. I wonder if motherfuckers are going to write about his naughty shit in those essays. There's a commentary track with film historians. No Roman Polanski on that commentary track, so don't worry. There's about an hour and 45 minutes of interviews and featurettes. And so let's not forget that Vinegar Syndrome 4Ks tend to look pretty fucking good. So, full disclosure, I'm going to buy this film. What about you guys? If you want to take a break from sending me pictures of your flaccid penises, then do you still watch Roman Polanski films? Am I a shithead for still watching Roman Polanski films? You can feel free to let me know. What do you guys think about these most recent Vinegar Syndrome announcements? Holla at your boy, man. I'm going to fucking get back to drinking this warm Oktoberfest now. I yap too much. These fucking things get warm in my sweaty mitt. This is a good one, though, Baxter. Peace, motherfuckers.